So in this video, we're going to be learning about arrays in JavaScript. So the first question you're probably asking yourself is, what is an array? And an array is just basically a way of storing multiple values in a single variable inside JavaScript. Well, it's inside any language, it's the same. So to create an array, what we do is we create a variable, and I'm going to call mine my array. And we set it equal to 2 square brackets like this. So normally you would say var, I don't know, name equals Francis, and you would set it equal to a string, which is delimited by 2 double quotes. So an array is delimited by 2 square brackets, and in JavaScript actually semicolons are not compulsory, but I'm just going to put one in just to avoid confusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an array of strings. Arrays can hold multiple data types, so for example there's a string, I could put a number in as well, so I could say 10, and I can also include objects such as another array, or I could include an object I created, or I can include a function. So I'll just say PHP Python, and I'm going to say down here document.write my array. So as you can see, it prints it out like a list. It looks like a normal string with commas in between each item, and as you can see, JavaScript has no problem including a number with strings in the one array. So to keep things simple, I'm just going to change this to a string, so I'll say JavaScript. So in JavaScript there's a function called typeOf, and if I say, I'll actually say console.log, and I'll say type of my array. And then to do this, what we have to do is we have to open up the console, and we'll refresh. And as you can see, the console says object. What this means is that JavaScript sees arrays as objects. So what this means, that's why we can include objects in arrays. Well, what that also means is we can create arrays using the new keyword. So I could say var let's say second array, and I can set that equal to a new array, and I can give it, say, 5. And what this will do is this creates a new array with 5 undefined indexes in it, so 5 spaces for information that are currently empty. There's no point using this second method. It's just, you can do it, but it's more it's preferred to use the first method, because this first method you could say like this, my let's say third array. I can just set that equal to say 5. And what this does is this creates a third array with space for 5 items in it. So the difference between using the new array keyword and just putting in 2 square brackets and the number is, the number tells JavaScript how many items the array can hold, but what the new array keyword and the function does is it creates a new array with 5 items in it. So this uses more memory straight away. At this moment, this array will be smaller than this one, because this one has filled 5 spaces up as undefined. So it is slower to use this second method, and it's more preferred just to use the method, the first one. So since arrays are objects, I can do this. So if I get rid of the square brackets and replace them with curly brackets, what I'm doing now is I'm creating an object. I'm not creating an array, but an array and an object are the same thing. So then what I can do is I can say line 1, line 2, and then I'll say line 3. And now what I'll do is I'll say console.log my array.line1. And as you can see, we get Python returned to us. If I say line 2, we'll get PHP. And if I say line 3, we'll get JavaScript. So what you can do to access items in an array is, let's just go back to an ordinary array. So what you can do to access items in an array is I could say console.log my array and get the 0th index. So since computers count from 0, that will get Python, because this is the 0th index, this is the first one, and this is the second one, even though there's three items in the array. So if I refresh the page now, you can see we get Python again. I can overwrite items in an array doing this, so I could say my array 0 equals HTML. And now if I refresh the page, as you can see, we get HTML returned to us. So you can add a new item to an array by doing this. You could say my array, and then you put the square brackets to give it an index, and I could say myArray.length. And the reason this works, I actually have to give it a value, so I'll say CSS. So the reason this works is because arrays count from 0, so even though there's 3 items in this JavaScript element will have an index of 2. And since there's 3 items, the length of this will be 3. So this is the same as saying myArray3 equals CSS. It's the exact same way, except this is a more dynamic way because this means no matter what length our array is, we'll add a new item to the end of it. So I'm just going to log console.log the entire array, and you'll see we get CSS added to the end of it. Okay, so the reason we got that error was we just have to get rid of the brackets. So let's refresh. And as you can see, we get Python, PHP, JavaScript, and CSS is the last element in the array. The reason that didn't work is because length isn't a method, which is just basically a function. Length is a property, which just has the name of the property. It doesn't have anything after it. So just remember, length is a property, not a method, and so that when you're using it, you don't put the parentheses on the end of it. So I'm going to add another item to the array. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm just going to add an array inside of an array. So as you can see, you'll find out now I can add an array to an array by just creating another array up here. Say var, just call it A, and I'll just give it some values. So I can say test, and then hello, and I could just add it to this array by doing that, and that would add the array. I can also do it this way, so I can just get rid of that, and in here I'll just paste in here the new array, and if I console.log that now, you can see we have another array, and if I open this up, you can see inside we have an array inside an array. So that's been a short introduction to arrays in JavaScript. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to follow us on Google+, and subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.